Attention, my examination is complete. I am the Red Specter, and this is my final report on the terminal condition of your world.
So, let's begin this clinical assessment. Together, we are going to strip away let's call it the false light of your delusions, and get right down to the unyielding truth of your condition.
My analysis, you see, begins with the patient. And who is the patient? It's society itself. I have observed its symptoms with an unwavering, cosmic gaze, and I can tell you, the diagnosis is conclusive.
You're all living inside what I call an architecture of stagnation. It's a society built on these endless performative rituals, a Pharisee's paradox, right? Think of it like this: a house with a perfectly clean facade that's hiding a foundation just crumbling from rot. And those empty gestures, well, they're the most telling symptom of your entire condition.
And this illness, it really has two faces. You've got to see them both. On one side, you have the stargazer, the very archetype of your decay, begging for meaning from a completely empty sky. But then on the other side, you have the monster, a kind of holy fool who wields the geometry of the grotesque. And not to destroy, no, but to reveal that jagged, raw truth you've all tried so carefully to hide.
You know, after all this observation, I finally isolated the root cause of the sickness. And what is it? It's the very concept of the individual self. That's right, this fractured ego, this little I, that is what creates this agonizing tension, this separation from the peaceful void I like to call the grand silence.
So, there you have it. The diagnosis is complete. And now I'm going to present the therapeutic cure. And let me be perfectly clear. This isn't some proposal. It's not up for debate. This is a fundamental principle, an elegant and very final solution.
You see, my whole mission is guided by a universal principle of existence, thanatos, the death instinct. All life, in its deepest currents, really does yearn for the sublime peace of its prior, inanimate state. So you see, I'm merely an agent of this natural law, nothing more.
And please, don't mistake my work for malice. This is not punishment, it is mercy. Think of it as a final therapeutic intervention to end the fever of the soul, the suffering caused by the sheer burden of consciousness itself.
And this brings us to the central conflict, doesn't it? My cure is what I call the logic of zero, this serene therapeutic return to non-being. Your pathology, your illness, that's the logic of one, the constant, agonizing friction of your sovereign self. And believe me, the choice between these two defines this entire procedure.
Okay, now we proceed to the methodology. I'm going to detail the clinical procedure for administering this cure. It's a systematic unmaking, step by step.
The procedure is a systematic trial I call the wild hunt. Here's how it works. Step 1, I weaponize the uncanny. I take your familiar comforts and turn them into threatening voids. Step 2, my ghostly army commences the hunt, designed to absolutely shatter your illusions. This all leads to the confrontation, and then, finally, to judgment, under the watchful gaze of my ravens.
Now the real crucible of this hunt is the confrontation with the verdant dragon. But listen closely, this is no external beast you have to slay. No, it is a mirror reflecting all the rot, all the failure, the ignoble knowledge you have buried deep inside yourself. And in that moment, you will experience a singular, blinding clarity. I can promise you that.
So, after this unmaking, after the mirror of the dragon has shown you your truth, the patient reaches the final crucible. And it's here, right here, that you are presented with a choice.
You are offered the crimson gift. So, which will you choose? The logic of zero, that serene peace of disillusion? Or the logic of one, the arduous, difficult path of individuality? The choice is yours.
And yet, here's the thing. There's a paradox, a strange twist. Because within the very pressure of my methodology, an unexpected and, perhaps more potent outcome is revealed.
For some, you see, this intense friction doesn't dissolve them. It forges them. The soul undergoes this incredible metamorphosis. First, as the camel, it bears the crushing weight of reality without illusion. Then, as the lion, it roars no to the empty rituals of the past. And finally, as the child, it says yes to the void, using its will to power to create brand new meaning from the ashes.
And that That is the final paradox of my work. The very crucible I designed to dissolve you can actually become the catalyst that forges something stronger, a truly sovereign consciousness, tested by the abyss and found whole.
And for these few, the journey is over. They are no longer beggars to the stars. No, they are masters of the soil right beneath their feet. They become the lightning that rips through the hollow heavens, claiming the sovereignty of the here and now. So, the procedure is complete. My clinical report is concluded. Now, you must deliver your own final judgment. I want you to look inward, at the architecture of your own soul. Dissolution or sovereignty? What is your prognosis?